Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video, doing the European outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Thursday, we're having a detailed look at the weather for the next week, 10 days across Europe. And I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. And we've got 10 to 14 down with all of the regular features coming up for you later on this afternoon as well. Please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everybody for doing that. Right, okay, let's see what's happening across Europe today then. So we're basically breaking down the high pressure that's been dominating over the past several weeks across much of particularly Western Europe, bringing lots of very warm weather for this autumn. The pattern is on the change now. We do still have the ridge though, extending from Spain and Portugal over towards the Black Sea and the Ukraine. So most parts of southern and eastern Europe are still dominated by high pressure, but low pressure is in across Scandinavia and the northeast of Europe, and more low pressure gathering out in the Atlantic as well. Other air temperatures still looking really warm, way above average through most parts of southern and also east and southeast Europe, but out to the north and west it is a lot cooler with those upper air temperatures. Many parts of Europe still dry, of course, under that area of high pressure from Spain, Portugal, right way over to the Black Sea. Many areas looking dry in the south and southeast Europe. We've got a band of rain here through parts of the Low Countries, Germany into Poland, and more wet weather gathering to the west and the southwest of the UK and Ireland too. Further northwards, we've got sunshine and showers, and some of those could be wintry across the northern and northeastern parts of Europe. Temperatures today look like that, so really warm again across much of Europe actually, like France, Spain, Portugal, most of the them through the Adriatic to the Balkans, from Balkans, Black Sea. Most areas seeing temperatures at least into the teens, if not the 20s Celsius. But we come further northwards, it starts turning cooler into England, Wales, and the Low Countries and Germany, and northern parts of Poland as well. And then to the north of that it gets colder, so colder air into Scotland in particular, and also into Norway and central northern parts of Sweden and into Finland as well, and that cold air beginning to extend down towards the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania. Well, on into tomorrow we find the high pressure increasingly collapsing into the south and southeast Europe, taking the warmth with it. Meanwhile, low pressure takes over across the north of the Western Europe, increasingly unsettled. The warm air is hanging on by its fingertips through France, Low Countries and Germany, but it's gradually being squeezed further southwards and eastwards. Cooler air to the north and west around this area of low pressure. Just here, heavy rain through Portugal and the far northwest of Spain, up into France as well, far northwest of France, particularly through England, Wales, and into the Low Countries, and then into Denmark and southern parts of Norway and Sweden. Some very wet weather through there. And to the north of that, of course, it's cooler or colder with wintry showers coming into parts of Norway, and also potentially to the far north of Scotland as well, by the way. South and east of that, again under high pressure, lots of dry weather tomorrow, but warmth is still there through many parts of Europe. But you see the cold air is trying desperately to push further southwards and to eastwards to displace all of that warmth that's been hanging around for several weeks. Well, we go through into Saturday, everything starts to simplify. A big trough of low pressure sits over Scandinavia and up in towards Finland as well. High pressure pulls out into the Atlantic, so between the two we start to pull in these much cooler or colder northwesterly winds, and that does start to squeeze the warmth out into the southeast Europe. Upper air temperatures show the warmth being pushed over onto the eastern side of Europe, and again particularly through the central and eastern part of the Mediterranean. Significantly cooler and or colder to the north and west, minus 5 Celsius iceberg moving into Scotland and heading towards Norway there as well, indicating much colder air. So we've got a band of heavy rain pushing further eastwards in towards Poland, and then northwards into the Baltic Sea states and up to Finland as well. Behind that, showers or longer spells of rain, sleet and snow through central northern parts of Sweden and down into Norway as well. Sunshine and showers for the UK, Ireland, Low Countries and Germany. Some of those could turn wintry far north over high ground. Some shall begin to break out through Spain and Portugal as well, you notice. They look generally light, but a few heavier ones could be mixed in. And then further south and east about a lot of dry weather on Saturday. But warmth being squeezed over onto the eastern side of Europe with significantly cooler or colder air digging in to the north and the west once again. High pressure moves into the UK, Ireland and France as we go through into Sunday. Meanwhile, the low pressure still there over Scandinavia with those very chilly or even cold north to northwesterly winds. Once again, pressure weakening across southern Europe, still warm through the Mediterranean with the upper air temperatures, but much colder air to the northwest. The most cooler or colder conditions spreading further eastwards as well into the east of Europe once more. Precipitation wise, we've got risk of rain, sleet and snow across northern parts of Europe through Scandinavia under that trough of low pressure, some of that getting in towards the Baltic Sea states as well. The band of rain marking the change to these cooler, colder conditions, moving in towards the Balkans and up towards Ukraine and towards the Black Sea as well. Few shall begin to break out through the central part of the then some wet weather starting to head in towards the Bay of Biscay, towards Spain and Portugal as well. France, UK, Ireland looking mostly dry under that area of high pressure, but quite chilly, especially so at night, but even by day you will notice the drop in the temperature. Notice we've changed the colours from yellows and oranges to greens here across much of central, northern and western Europe. The oranges are being squeezed out to the south and the far southeast of Europe on Sunday. That area of high pressure remains in control of the weather for the UK, Ireland and into the Low Countries, Germany as well. I extended the reach further eastwards of that actually on Monday. An area of low pressure starting to move in towards Spain and Portugal. That's quite a significant change. And then low pressure again sitting across the far northeast of Europe, particularly centred across Finland and into the far northwest of Russia. Upper air temperatures there looking cool or chilly across most central northern parts of Europe. Warmer with the upper air temperatures in the south, but not south of Europe, but not as warm as it has been. And look at this, we've got some very wet weather starting to develop through Spain and Portugal, so that's a significant change as we get through to the beginning of next week. Wet weather moves in off the Atlantic into Portugal and Spain, with heavy showers and thunderstorms starting to break out through the central part of there as well, perhaps affecting the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, Minorca, Ibiza, over towards Corsica, Sardinia and even into Italy as well. So signs of much more unsettled conditions early next week in the Med. Further north of that, lots of dry weather under that area of high pressure from Ireland, the UK and northern France eastwards, and then we run back into those wintry showers in the far north of Europe. Cold through Norway and into central northern parts of Sweden. Chilly across most northern parts of Europe and even across southern Europe as this wet weather starts getting going. Those temperatures will be coming down to a cooling trend in all areas. That's Tuesday. So still about trough of low pressure across Finland and the northwest of Russia. High pressure beginning to reach northwards through the west of Europe, and still with this low sitting over Spain and Portugal, just generally weakening the pressure through the rest of the bed as well. The heat is being pushed down into North Africa, you'll notice, but long hot Mediterranean summer 2023 is coming to an end here, with the heat being squeezed down into North Africa, but still pretty warm with the upper air temperatures across southern Europe on Tuesday. But further north was certainly looking a lot cooler again with those upper air temperatures. Now, where are we on the tab? Let's go back here. Right, there we are. And precipitation wise, well, yes, we've got some very wet weather through Spain, Portugal, some parts of France, and down into the Med. Heavy rain, thunderstorms, longer spells of rain possible as well. Some of that extending towards Italy and also southern parts of Germany. More showers from the Balkans over towards the Black Sea as well. So it's just generally turning much more unsettled by Tuesday across many parts of southern Europe. Showers and longer spells of rain, sleet and snow mixed in still with that trough of low pressure from far north of Europe. I'm very happy swayed with drier weather in between the two areas of wet weather. And temperature-wise, well, generally on the cool side for most parts of northern Europe and even across southern Europe, where temperatures are coming down and they're looking cold with temperatures across Scandinavia That low pressure begins to move off into the Arctic as we get through into Wednesday, with high pressure across Western Europe beginning to ridge northwards up towards Scandinavia. Meanwhile, further south, low pressure sitting across Spain and Portugal in particular. The temperatures show that the hottest temperatures being squeezed down to far south and southeast Europe. Most parts of Europe looking quite cool, particularly cold actually through Scandinavia into the northeast Europe, with a surge of northerly winds bringing down that -5 Celsius isotherm. And as far as precipitation goes, on Wednesday, very wet across much of southern Europe again. Heavy showers, long spells of rain and thunderstorms through Spain, Portugal into southern France. Very wet along the Côte d'Azur and through the Balearic Islands of Mallorca, Menorca and Ibiza. And that wet weather extends them on into towards Corsica, Sardinia, and also into Italy as well. Could be some the first, proper heavy snows over the Alpine regions with this as well. I would not be surprised if we see some significant snow over the Alps by midweek. That wet weather through Italy and then into the Adriatic and around the Balkans, over toward the Black Sea too. Lots of very wet weather there across southern Europe. Further north, again, we've got heavy showers, longer spells of rain, and now turning increasingly to snow, I think, in the northeast of Europe. So, again, from Finland into the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, possibly down into some northern parts of Germany and Belarus, we could see some rain turning to snow. That colder air starts to dig in. Further north and west of that, lots of dry weather through Wednesday under that area of high pressure, but temperatures are looking chilly and cold again through Scandinavia and into the far northeast of Europe once more, and cooler down across southern Europe too. And then Thursday, we'll see high pressure potentially starting to take over across Scandinavia, begin to pull wind into the east across northern and eastern parts of Europe. We still have the low pressure there sitting underneath that high over Spain, Portugal. The temperature becoming colder across the north and the northeast of Europe actually as we pull wind into that east northeasterly. Cold air begins to move southwards and westwards. So even into the UK we start to pull in something a little bit colder for the east potentially by Thursday. Further southwards though, again, lots of warm air sitting across the far southwest with that area of low pressure and hot in towards northern parts of Africa. Loads of wet weather again across southern Europe. Lots of showers, longer spells of rain and thunderstorms through Spain, Portugal, the Mediterranean, and over into the Balkans too. I reckon we could see some snow through parts of the Baltic Sea states and in towards northern Poland as well. To the north and west of that, lots of dry weather under the high pressure, but cold, especially so across Scandinavia. Notice how the cold is intensifying there through Norway and into central northern parts of Sweden and into central northern Finland as well. So that's unusually cold for the time of year, I think, by the time we get through to the last stages of next week. And most cooler temperatures are pushing westwards on those easterly winds further south, which is southern Europe looking relatively warm. I'll just run you on to day 10. So this GFS run, and other ones disagree about this, but this GFS run has a big area of high pressure bed taking over across Scandinavia. Classic Scandinavian high, bringing the wind into the east as we go through the weekend of the 21st, 22nd of October. That spreads colder air from east to west across Europe. Unsettled too, with showers and long spells of rain. And we still have the low pressure around Spain and Portugal, so that brings plenty of wet weather there. The GFS run also brings some pretty hot air up from the far east, southeastern side of Europe. I'm so sorry to put it by day 10. As the wind turns more to a southerly southeasterly there, but further north and west, the upper air temperatures remain really quite chilly. So significant changes on the way. We're starting off breaking down the high pressure that brought this long spell of very hot autumnal weather over the past several weeks since the beginning of September. That high pressure is breaking down. So the trend through this coming week 10-day period will be increasingly unsettled, most notably so across southern parts of Europe, actually, where we will have the first proper autumnal rains of the season next week. So increasingly unsettled across most parts of Europe, but also colder as well, and that's most notably so across northern parts of Europe. But by the end of next week, if we do get that Scandinavian high going, those colder temperatures could well start to advance a little bit further westwards across Europe. So maybe an early taste of winter, especially so through Scandinavia and the northeast of Europe in the next week to 10 days. Right, interesting week to come. If you enjoyed the forecast, please can you like, share and subscribe, and we're going to be back later on with a 10 to 14 day, which will include all of regular features, so come back for that a little bit later. But for the European Outlook this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.